All right, we are back with another episode of It's the End of the World, unless.
Pew, 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 pew.
And we got your huge people, me, Tiana, the host. And then we have Skinny,
Yes.
our co host. And then we have a returning special guest, Dab Daddy Don.
What's good? What's good?
I was trying to clap. I got my phone in my hand.
Audience.
So,
Woo! And we are actually closing out season 1 with this episode. So we're kind of just going to be going into a little bit of everything that we've already reviewed, like capitalism overall, and then how racism, sexism, religion, all the good things
yes.
funnel into that. But I think the question that I used to kind of mainframe it, I don't know if that's the right word, but we're going to go with it, is why are we not, as a, overall, as a collective, reaching self-sustainability faster?
Yeah, like
Why?
Why? like what's holding us back? Like, I feel like it goes into not wanting to have to depend on yourself to do this shit to maintain yourself. Like, the more, I think especially with the pandemic talk, is that one, you could do it by yourself, but two, like, you realize what you take on by doing it by yourself. And a lot of people aren't ready for that responsibility. So it's like, I'd rather let somebody else do the things that I don't want to do if it means that I get the comfort of,
And one of the things that was also reinforced to me during quarantine, just by like noticing what was happening in the world, people will depend on themselves even for necessary things, but only when they're kind of forced into the situation. Like, they hold all the skills as a community to be self-sustainable, but it only really happens when there's a world record-breaking snowstorm in Texas, and they have no other choice
then
but
they gotta band together and do all this shit.
When that like crypto or stocks shit happened, I don't know, to like battle a hedge fund or whatever the fuck, I don't know. So like, people have it in them. It's just they don't feel the need to like activate it.
Yeah. I guess it's a pride thing, one, and then I think we're all kind of shown this world, and then you're shown like you can get it, but here's what it's gonna take, and it's like there's a good side and a bad side to it, because it's like you want to take on shit to be like, I did some shit, you know what I'm saying? You want to accomplish shit, but then it's like you get to a certain point in whatever you're doing where you realize, oh, this shit just a game. Like, there's always some type of game, like, at some point of the ladder, you know what I'm saying? And it's like a lot of people just don't want to play that game.
And a lot of people, I think, also just have like this one-track mind of how to win the game.
Yeah.
Like, there's only one way to do it, which is, I don't know,
like
getting rich, having a big house, whatever the fuck. However,
it's just what they've been shown. Just, hey guys, here's your, especially American dream. You want the big house, you want the nice car, you get all the bitches.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way to do it, and the only way you can. Oh yeah, they also tell you in the same breath, work your ass off. While they don't have to do anything. They're not working at all. That's the real secret. Like, figure out how to not work and still get the money.
How are people not seeing that it's such a scam, though? Especially after the pandemic.
Because a lot of medias are still very controlled. Think about towns and cities and like entire counties that are just like, hey, you know what? We're only watching one news outlet. We're only watching Fox. Period. Yeah. And that's it. If anybody has anything else on, shoot that TV, because they clearly didn't want it, or it's broken.
Because I think one thing, and I'm sure it's gotten better, like, as technology has gotten better, but you notice that a lot of like social media platforms are wrapped around certain cities, and it's like LA, Atlanta, DC, Miami, the bigger cities is like what you usually see, like where people are doing, like, and I think that you kind of forget about like those towns that have like he said, like towns and cities. It's like those towns that have like 1,000 people in them, like, the small where everybody know each other, and like there aren't a lot of TVs, it's not a lot of access to like technology or nothing like that. They just like, you know what I'm saying? They don't know what the fuck going on, but if they seeing TV, it's whatever they giving, So it's like you gotta understand everybody's not everybody has access to it, but everybody doesn't have access to it at the same time, I guess.
I feel like, do you think it's safe to say, though, that, like, majority of this country has access to more than just that one-track mindedness?
Oh, yeah.
Like, when we're talking about these cities that are heavily populated, which is why they're so, like, commonly talked about and referred to, they probably make up more altogether than these super small cities.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So it should still be, like, majority rules, right? What the fuck is happening? Why are niggas in New York still being racist as fuck? Still being sexist as fuck?
Historic, like, value still works there. You know, people still experiencing certain things, just jaded, basically. Just people being jaded and having a certain opinion because every yellow person has always squinted at them for some reason, or every white person slaps them in the face and spits on them. Like, it's like, damn, well, if that's happened to you every single time, I could see why you'd want to be hesitant. But it's probably
that actually
really
happening, though?
No, it's probably not. It's probably only happened. No. Not to say that it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Some poor souls happens more than once, maybe often. Maybe you're just getting bullied. Is the real of it, and that didn't take a skin color. That might have been the reason of the bully to pick on you because of your skin color.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't just skin color, it would have been something else.
It would have been something else because you're poor, or because, you know, those shoes were green today.
So how do we, like, switch that thinking in everybody, even in the bullies? Like,
well, the bullies are usually missing something of their own, and that's why they're taking it out on somebody else. So now you're basically asking, how do we fix family structures behind closed doors?
Yeah.
There's a bigger trauma behind it all.
Even outside of family, though. It could just be, like, as soon as they start going to school, motherfuckers have been getting fucked with. When they go home, the parents are, like, super loving and caring, but, like, society is just, you know, always at your neck. How do you... I don't know.
I think we need to lower the expectations of, like, what we can expect out of other humans.
Yeah.
Nah, but that's a real ass answer, though. That's a real ass answer.
Yeah, we just gotta lower it because most people aren't there. They just aren't. And for us to be mad at generally the whole of people because a lot of them aren't getting it, I mean, just understand that they're not gonna get it. They should be educated. Like, there has to be a way to get some other media to them, get them a pamphlet, send them a postcard, something. Like, dude, get these people some cell phone service or anything. Like, show them a different website than what they've been going on. And that's the biggest thing. Just give them more experiences to work with because that's what's going to change somebody's opinion over time. It's the consistent experience that whatever the preconceived notion was, that's not a reality. Like, for the most part, it's not really happening.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. You specifically, Dab Daddy Don.
Okay.
Do you think self-sustainability on a wide scale is a reasonable solution? Like, not, okay, I don't know if that's how I want to word it. I'm not asking if you think it's likely that most people will become self-sustainable, but if they did, do you think that would solve a lot of the problems that we talk about on here?
I think that's like saying, does everyone like having light bulbs in their house? And then does everyone know how to build a light bulb? Everybody likes using the light from a light bulb. Everybody likes using the energy from a self-sustainable society. Do you know how to build that? Do you know how to sustain that? Or,
not you, if your neighbor does, what can you bring to the table that other people can use? Is what I'm referring to when I say, like, self-sustainability.
It is still like a checks and balances thing. Yeah. And I think we talked about it before. Eventually you're going to get to a point where it's like, are we valuing one event or one objective or one action over another? I gave you the example of, if I save your son's life by doing heart surgery, how many apples is that worth? I'm a farmer. I grow apples. I can't give you money. How many apples is my son's life worth to you, surgeon? And also, you got to go save the next kid, too, so you probably should come up with that price a little bit faster.
I mean, are you just saving my kid's life to get something?
Just for something? Just for something? That's just, I mean, I guess if everything's, there's no price tag or anything, you just, whatever it is, you just pat them on the back and say, hey, thanks.
Or hey, you don't have to worry about food for the next however so long, or
just ever, because it's all a self-sustaining society anyways. You know? Everybody's already getting fed whatever they need.
And I just feel like in that type of situation, people would be a lot more willing to just give when it's not such a competition in everything.
I have mixed feelings about it. I feel like it's possible, but I feel like it's going to take a very, very traumatic event to happen for
people got to be removed. Like something a lot of people got to get removed,
like on a big scale, for people to really be like, damn, it's really fucked up out here.
Like Katrina, but everywhere.
Yeah.
Ida, but everywhere.
Yeah, but I say it had to be more like a government thing. It had to be like something like that they just blatantly do that's just so like disrespectful that it's like everybody's like. At this point, it's like, I don't know what that would be.
Yeah.
Honestly.
How much wilder do you need them to get, right?
But it's like, it has to be something that's it's just so obvious.
So you don't even think like Mother Nature could get them asses in check?
No,
people still deny climate change, and we seeing snow in places we never seen it before.
And we're seeing lack of snow in others.
But I'm saying, like, with that whole Texas situation, how people came together to make sure people could stay, like, heated and shit. You know, like, have heat in this fucking snowstorm that never happens in Texas. If that's happening everywhere...
I don't know, because you run into human nature. Because there are going to be people, regardless, who are going to say, hey, okay, we can either shovel out all this snow in our house, or we could take their house, because they already shoveled their shit.
God damn it. Yep. Or I'm going to just come help you shovel your shit, bro.
I mean, in a better world. In a better world,
you're ignoring human nature at that point.
But that's nature. That's not even just human nature. That's nature.
Yeah, it is just nature. Nature is I need that thing you got.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
Now listen.
I kind of cut you off in the middle of your point. I'm sorry.
If Elon Musk finishes these brain chips and everyone's on these brain chips only, that would be the only way we got to this utopia, because then everybody would be on the same page.
Fucking Neuralink?
Yeah, and then everybody can just read each other's thoughts. And
everyone get a brain implant?
It's sort of...
Not talk no more. We can look at I know your whole life story.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I don't like you.
Like, human perception would improve so much. You would just need to look at somebody to truly know them and understand them better. And you... Yeah, it really is.
And they never end well.
Somebody
gonna outthink the chip or something, and then they gonna figure out that this shit fucked up.
Or just use it to manipulate people. What the fuck?
Yeah, it never really ends well, but that's just one way. Like, you literally gotta level the playing field for everyone. That's the only way. And right now it's so skewed. There's gajillionaires, and then there's people so far in debt, or worse, the people in debt, it implies that they had some money at some point. Usually it's like, oh, you're $200,000, $200 million in debt. That probably meant you had $1 billion at some point in time, and you just fucked it up. But I'm talking about these people that are like negative 1,000, negative 5,000, and they've never made more than 10,000 in a year, and it's like, that person is never climbing out of the debt. The debt scale. It's not happening. You can't do it in this society.
But even when you refer to a level playing field, if we were to just give everyone like access to all kinds of resources, there's still like an uneven brain playing field. You know, like the rich is gonna think like the rich, and the poor is gonna think like the poor. So it'd have to be like some reverse psychology shit going on or something. I don't know.
I honestly believe that, like, I feel like to get that type of money, you have to be some type of, like, sociopath or psychopath, honestly. Like, to do those to do the things that it takes to get that type of money and work people the way you do and, like, all that type of shit, it's like, you gotta be some type of, like, just, and then to be able to, like, make yourself look like a better person in the public, but like you gotta do, like, there's no way to get that type of money, like, morally.
But I feel like the people that are like whose whole purpose in life they think is to like get more money to like raise their whatever status, isn't that kind of like psycho, like?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you've made this false idol, like something to just like continue going after, but like what is it really giving you? Is that a little too much for the podcast?
Well, no, I wouldn't call it crazy though. I would
That's
say
something I
that
put in
they've
my
been
journal.
like trained to think that way.
Okay, but I mean even okay. Okay.
And for the most part, they've had nothing telling them otherwise. And every single
Wait, can you still say that now?
nowadays,
In this day and age?
Yeah, because
almost more evident than ever.
you can control your like what comes up on your feed. Like they direct your feed based on the things you search, what you like talk about, like so they know what you like. So they gonna show you everything that you think. And then when you go to search, like there was even it was like a documentary where they was talking about how they use the algorithms and shit, and they were saying how what was it, like if you search different shit in on Google, and you know how it has like the autocorrect shit, it'll fill different shit based on where you live. So like you might put do black people, in some places it'll put like steal, da 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 da, you know, da da, and then the other places it'll put like face oppression, do art, you know, shit like that based on where you live. You know what I'm saying?
I see.
And actually, in that documentary, they were saying that Google, that's not intentional by Google. That's what people there are fucking Googling. That's the mindset of the people in that area. And they're saying, hey, we're just adhering to what's most likely. And guess what? That's what they end up clicking on.
Yeah.
Not because that's necessarily what they were going to look for. Maybe it was. But maybe they just happened to see it and they're like, oh damn, maybe I do wonder how much black people steal. And all they see is articles of niggas stealing shit.
Like,
They're like, well, I guess all black people steal shit.
Charts
That's the final conclusion right there, because that's all I looked at.
And most people aren't gonna do the legwork to actually look into how many people would like actually exist in America, like the statistics of how many black people are here and like that type of shit. Like they're not gonna look that deep. They just gonna see the first article and be like, oh, I got what I needed. Let me get back to Twitter so I can argue with some niggas.
But that actually ties into religion and the basis of blind belief in something. It teaches you not to question anything, so the first answer that comes up in your head must be the right answer, because God told you that's right.
God told you that. He
Duh.
told you that.
He wouldn't lead you astray.
And then when you fuck up and he does lead you astray, you say it's not him, it's the devil.
It was the devil.
It was the devil.
It was the devil the whole
Because
time.
God don't have no control over what the devil does to you, apparently.
Yeah, of course.
You know, all powerful, you know, whatever. Who cares?
Shit is weird, man.
Yeah, but you have all these things working all at the same time to build the system that we're in right now. It's being perpetuated by these beliefs that have been in place for a long time. It's literally just getting to a point where more and more people are like, this is some bullshit. Mm-hmm. The whole of it is some bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how are this many people still stuck in that shit even after the pandemic?
Because we've been indoctrinated since kids.
Yeah, that's what
all of us, like all of your parents, their parents, it all goes back to once we got in school. What they tell you? Raise your hand, walk in the line.
They made us pledge allegiance to the flag.
Stand up for the flag. Put your hand over your heart and then say a play. That's some cult shit.
Weird,
like, that's weird as fuck. And nobody questions shit. They made you get vaccines, and then they made you show some type of verification that you got them to go to be like in certain buildings. Like it's been in us since we got in school. Like they know what they was doing.
Damn.
Yeah. And look, some kids will have a much better childhood than others, so they don't really get to go through the rough parts where some kids learn to not do some things. I don't have to do that. That's bad. I have empathy for that person because I experienced that. Mm-hmm. Some people never ever get that, so they get to adulthood, they're the Karens in line wondering why their service isn't done by the time they got up to the counter. Like, where's your manager?
Like shit. Yeah, entitlement. Like once you live that type of lifestyle, it's like you can't get used to people like not telling you yes. Like that's when you get that power struggle of like I want to be able to go anywhere and be told nobody can tell me no. Like if once I got enough money, you can't tell me no. If I say I want to go to space, you gonna send me to fucking space.
Send me to space
like
nowadays,
there's no arguing with me. Send me to space, bitch. Like
I just hate that people are so like manipulated to the point where it's like us against us. You know, it's like
I think something's gonna happen soon. Not soon is relative, but I think something's gonna happen, and it's kind of gonna force a certain perspective.
Definitely, I've been saying that, and I feel like where the government fucked up the most is that they didn't get a handle because, and I feel like honestly, it's not even just the government; it's like the higher powers that be, but I feel like what they didn't expect or what they couldn't handle was the internet.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't get a control of the internet. And once you have a platform where people can just put shit there and it's there forever and it's like you can bring stuff back and you can retrace history and you can, that's a capability we never had before.
And
so
reach
it's like
everywhere
exactly.
in the world, not just the U.S.
Like we've never had that before, so it's like now we seeing what's going on in Afghanistan and Israel and all these places.
Time in 4K.
Where before they could just put whatever on newspapers, on television.
I mean, that's why police have finally been getting so many consequences.
The only reason, because we've been able to put it on film and be able to see that shit
and share it immediately.
Like shit,
and not just to the judge. Not just to the people who are going to have to make an opinion. How about everyone?
Twitter,
Instagram, if they make a fucked
TikTok.
up opinion, there's ramifications for that shit.
Like they're about to censor the fuck out of everything.
Oh, they're going to try.
They're going to try.
But I think it's bigger than they think it.
Yeah, it's much bigger.
They know.
You don't think they can just switch it off, though?
No, they can't.
It's too big now. It's like... That's like basically going to every single person in the world and just being like unplugging they shit. You're not gonna get that.
That's doing that and then saying nobody do anything about it.
Right.
That's
and
the
nobody
important
do
now.
shit.
Nobody do shit.
And that might be what changes it. If they just all of a sudden everybody Wi-Fi just went off and they was like no more internet for none of you niggas.
Yeah, y'all
niggas would riot. Like niggas would go crazy.
Nah, niggas are gonna figure out how to get back online. Like yo, that's
they gonna hack some shit.
Okay, let's go make a meeting real quick. Unless they set up an EMP and blew up all the electricity on everything everywhere. And was like, now y'all can't talk to each other. Now what? Yeah. Niggas are still going to be like, okay, we started at ground zero, build.
They're going to figure out. Like, we've been doing this
since. Be immune to that shit.
We've been doing this since we were human. Like, that's in us too. Like, building shit. Like, that's what puts us above, like, animals, I guess, quote unquote. But it's our ability to like use tools, like be able to. We not gifted with like claws and all this other shit, but we could build like a spear or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like we gonna figure out some shit.
Or building.
Or building. Like we gonna figure out some shit. That's the great thing about us. But it's like you understand that power and then you choose what to do with it. And most people choose selfish. Well, I ain't gonna say most. I feel like the people who choose to, I don't think it's most. I honestly think it's even. I think there's an even amount of good and evil in the world. I just think that when you're evil, it's just more, it's more, I wouldn't even say evil, just like, I don't know the word for it, I guess negative. But it's just more enticing. Like as much as you don't want people to get in a car crash, you be driving and everybody going slow as fuck. You like, what the fuck is going on? Let's go. You finally get up there. You see the car crash. You like, damn, they on fire and all that. You looking like shit. We all like to see car crashes, but we don't like car crashes. But it's like, if everybody just driving normally, that's not interesting. You get bored. You just driving. Like, we like that type of shit. We need that type of shit because we like excitement. We like adrenaline. Like, we like to feel alive. But the problem is... that also means seeing other. We don't want to have to go through it, so we like to see other people's misery. You can't get adrenaline
from going down a water slide or something. Like you gotta see somebody burning in a car.
They prove maybe not a car fire, but
but like just some wild shit.
But then again, there are people that like that type of shit.
Some either some kind of gory something like that, or some kind of competition needs to be going on just for attention spans, because. Can you imagine if there weren't, like, to go back to the utopia idea, everybody has everything they need. What's the entertainment? What are y'all doing?
A hula hoop. Basketball. Roller skate. Like,
like, you don't think you're
something, bro.
Nah.
Something. I think why does it have to be at the expense of someone else or yourself?
Okay. I will say this.
How do you find the joy in your everyday?
I will say this. If you get to, if we're going from where we're at now, and if we say, okay, let's do some sustainability, everybody's like, okay, cool. And then you say, all right, we did all this shit, we built all this shit, we worked our ass off, how do we enjoy our day? And you just like, all right, guys, get out there hula hoops. I'm gonna be like, hey, yo, honestly, I love you, but fuck you, bro. Like, don't talk to me right now. Don't talk to me. You did it. We did all this work. We got a hula hoop now. That's more active work. That's more exercise.
If that's your choice of joy, you know, like for you, you could lock yourself in the studio for X amount of hours and record. Do dabs. I don't know, you know, like
process
something.
some shit and do my own dabs forever.
Something, whatever your joy is. Why is it? I feel like that's also something that's been, I don't know, kind of pushed on us to take joy in like the negative things. It's not human nature.
It's not. I think shitty jobs are good for people who don't quite know what they want to do, because it'll kind of force them into a situation where they got to figure it out, or basically it's worth it for both parties for you to be this cog in this machine, because you can work it out and I gave you meaning here. So
Bruh, I was talking to somebody that worked at Holistic before I left, and he was like, I could do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, see?
Homie was in packaging, like just stuffing pre-rolls and like putting eights together. He's like, yeah, I'm good here, for real.
If you're...
Nigga, you make $16 an hour.
I mean, that's good enough.
I mean, that's better than a lot of people make.
That's above minimum wage.
That's better than a lot of people make.
I mean, because of the area we live in, it's garbage. We know it's garbage.
But also maybe because people have never seen something else. They've never seen, like... Well, like when I was working on the farm the other day, I was like, I don't think a lot of niggas have seen something like this and experienced something like this.
I definitely had never seen no shit like that. Like, you know? I've seen it in like books and shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's like I've never seen it in like I guess like real life type shit, like in a real situation.
And actually being a part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so like how was it for you? Cause like you sweating and shit, you getting bit up by mosquitoes.
Honestly, it was cool, but it was
that
more like
lifestyle you could emerge into.
But look, I was gonna say, look, I would do it if it was like some end of the world, like I gotta provide for my community, for my family type shit. But if it's up to me,
it's the end of the world, bruh.
But it's unless. So unless I'm a motherfucking. If I could go to the Safeway or some shit, or at least like you can go to a little vegan market if you want to, you know, do your little thing. But what I'm saying is, I don't know. I guess I would balance like the luxury. Like I would like self-sustainability, but I also kind of want like a VR headset. So it's like,
it's like you gotta compromise, but you know one thing can only get you that VR headset.
Yeah.
And that's the current state of things. You gotta.
Okay, but why do we want a VR headset? Why do we want to be in this like fantasy thing?
I just think it's cool.
Like,
why? I just want to fight with it.
This is what we're talking about. Why do we find joy in fake murdering people?
It's competition. It's human nature.
It's fake competition. Like, look, instead of me cutting a real person,
can we go play a soccer game or something?
Like,
let's see who wins. That's not killing someone, digitally or in person.
Why do you buy your dogs chew toys? So they go chew on the toy and not murder a squirrel, right?
I mean, my dogs don't. But
yes.
Also,
they had to be
we're
trained
not dogs. We're a bit more like...
you can kind of decide against it, but the nature
conscious.
of... It's been shown throughout history that we can't even control getting out of wars. Like, they're echoing throughout time.
I don't think there's a big difference between us and a lot of animals, other than the fact that we can rationalize our own thought. Like because you still have the thought. Like when you get mad at somebody, your first thought is I'm gonna kill them.
No.
Like, or at least like I'm gonna fuck them up.
Something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen. That's your first thought, and then you'll be like, nah, that's not cool. Like let me chill.
Yeah, usually
but that first thought is that's the instinct. That's our animal like instinct. And then the second part is the human part that we develop. That part that's like, whoa, hold on. You might go to jail or some shit. Like, calm down.
Repercussions, you know? Yeah, there's like something that happens if I do that.
But before that, it was just go for it. Like, do what you got to do. Because when you see animals fight, like in nature, they ain't worrying about no, like, I don't want to kill it. No, I'm going for your neck.
To the
like,
death.
we going to the death. And if I die, oh well. Like, that's what it is. But we've learned to be like, okay, how do we not kill each other? And
it only kills some of us.
And only kill some of us.
Control. Be very selective.
Yeah, control.
Only the dark skinned ones.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Unfortunately.
And the poor people.
Yeah. And the poor ones.
The poor people under attack too. It don't matter what color you are.
Yeah.
That's real.
Because to them, you ain't contributing shit.
Yeah, and the worst part is they're usually in a predicament where they can't contribute shit.
Okay, so, right. But, okay. Because I feel like you're thinking everyone needs to be a farmer. Is that what you're thinking? Is that what y'all thinking?
No. I think it's more so like... I feel
like y'all aren't okay with everyone like focusing, like being able to have the time to focus on that one thing, that one skill, that one passion of theirs, find that intersection that contributes to them and everyone else.
This is how I see it, okay? Let's say, like, it doesn't have to be, it could be if we're just keeping our community together and everybody's just doing what they're supposed to do. Let's say you're like, I want to be a painter, right?
Yeah.
So you got the person that runs like the power plant or whatever. However we, you know, how we get our power, right? You got that person that knows electricity, whatever.
They manage the solar panels. Mm-hmm.
A couple people. They might have, you know, some apprentices or something. You know, they got a little team with them. Yeah. They do their thing.
Because they love learning about that shit.
And then you got the mechanic people. They fix stuff for people. And then you got, you know, the baking or whatever, people that cook and shit, right? You got a little big-ass kitchen and everybody do their thing, right?
Yeah.
Then you got the painter, and he in his room just drawing and painting. Yeah. And everybody like, yeah, you know, we did all this work. We had to pick up all this heavy stuff and do all this sweating. And then he come up with a paint like, hey, y'all, what's up? I drew this painting for y'all. And they just like, thanks, man.
I be like, yes!
I be like,
yes! Yes! Thanks. What's wrong with that? Because you wouldn't be doing those like manual labor, whatever hardworking to you. Those hardworking jobs because it's what needed to be done. It's just like a skill that you were interested in enough to master, and that's what you contribute.
But then I guess that begs the question, like, do people want to actually like take on responsibility? Like, because you could be like, oh, that looks interesting, but if you like, okay, but if I learn how to do that, they're gonna make me do that shit. Some people are just gonna be like, I don't want to do that shit. Like, I'm gonna kick my feet up. Like,
I feel like this kind of falls into a Wonder Twin scenario, where you got one twin who both of them got superpowers. One twin can turn into anything, basically. You know, he goes transforms. He's great. Mm-hmm. The other person can turn into water. He turns into a bucket of water all the time.
A bucket
of water. That's what he transforms into. And it's
can't move or nothing.
Nope. And basically useless every episode. So you have people that are going to be good at making society move forward. Like, they have progressive ideas, or at least maintainable ideas that are like, hey, we've made this infrastructure that it made us self-sustainable. We have enough know-how to make it stay that way. Now let's talk about the people who don't have that same know-how, will not have that same know-how, incapable of having that same know-how. What do those people do? Are they jealous of the people who do have it? Is there some kind of, and there will be, again, there will be because they're humans. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh yeah, I'm better because I can do this, and you're a peon, worker bee over here because you can't think on the level I can. You're not making society sustain itself. You're not helping. You're not contributing to that side of it. Or not as much as I am. Which is basically where we're at right now. Yeah. Except it's far less arguable for some people. Some people are doing jobs that do not push society forward at all. And they're getting paid a lot of money for it. So, I don't know. If we could fix that, that would actually make a tremendous help too. So imagine,
I just don't think like that. So I think my downfall is I'm assuming everyone can ultimately think like we all have
that sentence, if it stopped right there,
I know.
terribly incorrect. A lot of people can't think. You just really got to stop right there and
Once you say, I think people.
I think,
No.
Yikes.
No. I think your best bet, honestly, is finding a small community and bunkering down somewhere. Cause it's at least in these times, cause it's to assume the entire world will just mind shift into a place, cause it doesn't have to. I wouldn't even say it has to be the entire world.
I'm just imagine
it could just be the United States. Like the United States alone has enough power where if we overall changed our mindset, we could change the world. Like we have that much power, but even that would take like I said, something monumental to happen, and usually, unfortunately, that's something very bad. So, I mean, we're waiting for that, I guess, until because on a bigger scale, you're always gonna have people who just hate anything that seems new, that seems different. It's I know this is what I've always known, and you can't tell me nothing different. So.
Okay, so let's not think of the whole world. Let's think of... Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Let's think of just our smaller communities that we live within.
Okay.
Is that more realistic?
Still no.
It depends on who you live around, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's gonna. Definitely.
It depends on who you live around. And I feel like if that's your goal, if you are that type of farmer, then you move to where your craft best suits you, I think. Because it's I mean...
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Because it's you're not going to be I want to be a farmer, I'm going to move to New York City.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's you got to go where your craft suits you. A lot of people are trying to bunker, be in places where they're not in an environment where they're comfortable in, and it's you're trying to fit into the corporate and all this, but you're not that person.
Yeah.
So it's you have to escape. This area is that, honestly, unless you're somewhere in politics or some shit like that, you most likely work in some type of retail or some type of shit.
Shitty job, yeah. I just want people to want better for themselves and recognize what better could be.
Definitely.
Do you also want to give those people the opportunity to decide what better is for themselves?
That's a good question.
Or do you want to define it for them?
Better for themselves and everyone else? Because are we still being selfish?
I was going to say, because that's what it also comes down to. If my favorite thing to do every day is murder people, I'm sure people are going to have an issue with it.
Nigga!
Shit.
Especially if people are murdering. So I think those voices should be heard as well.
I just want people to want better for themselves and people around them.
And maybe
empathy,
understand.
That's fucking it.
But
just have a little
that goes
more.
back to what he said, about murderers and shit. It's there are murderers who feel they're doing you a favor. This world is nothing. Let me kill you. You don't need to be here.
I'm not gonna totally disagree.
So it's I feel it's always gonna be that. There's always gonna be that conflict. I think the achievable goal is making the playing field even, like he said. That's the best option we have, because then at that point it's you let kind of nature deal with itself, and that's the most natural solution we have, versus putting us in a machine and then saying, okay, figure your way out. It's okay, fuck the machine, everybody do what you want, and if you figure it out, you figure it out. If you don't, you don't. Survival of the fittest. But then it's at that point, is that humane or not?
Yeah.
So with survival of the fittest, if we took out that component, just somebody having to survive, if we somehow made a system, which I'm sure it mostly exists already, where everyone could get some food. Everybody basically has a debit card or a credit card already, right? Mm-hmm. What if those debit credit cards basically it's just infinite money? Mm-hmm. You are on a certain tier based on what you provide to society, but in terms of can I go get some food right now? Yes. That's not going to cost you anything to go get food to supply yourself and your family or whatever. It's never we're never going to put a cap on that.
I think that's a cute short-term goal.
Yeah, but it builds into it literally, if we have society as it is right now, you have to baby step it into the next thing. There's no big switch you can flip and just make everybody okay with it. It's small wins that when you look at it as a whole, it's like, oh, actually, we're 33% of the way through, but that took 33 battles. Each giving me 1%. Some of them gave me 2. Some of them only gave me 0.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like people resist like a big change. Like, it's just, we don't like being told like, okay, everything about to change now. It's like we kind of have to have some type of routine to like how society or how our lives or how we think things are supposed to go. So it's like, when it's like, even if it seems like it's a good thing for people, if you automatically just be like, all right, everybody, we switching to this new system. It's like, oh, what does that mean for me and my kids and my da-da-da-da? And it's like, they don't, you know how people are. Like, they not gonna read nothing. They just gonna think what they gonna think. Oh, that means we gonna have to pay more taxes. So I hate it. And da-da-da. Like, that's just, people. Unfortunately, it's like we're so intelligent, but it's like, unfortunately, we're also dumb as shit.
Yes, and it's so weird, like, seeing AOC with the fucking Eat the Rich dress on at the fucking Met Gala.
She wild as shit.
Like, that's literally like an example of that. We're so smart, we're so fucking dumm. Like,
and people
I see
like,
what you
she's so
tried
brave.
to do there.
She's so brave. Like, how's she brave?
People said that?
Yeah, I mean, people talk about she brave in front of all these people. I'm like, so because she put a dress on and went to an event where there were a lot of people with money. I don't get it. Like, I don't get what we're clapping for. But whatever.
The irony was killing me.
Everybody is
killing me.
Everybody, but I think they've made us fall in love with the performance. Like, they basically put on the show for this long, and they like, y'all love this shit. Like, as much as y'all argue, they love this shit.
What else can happen that will like trigger people? Like, this shit is already pretty much going mainstream. This whole like anti-capitalism attitude, and people are just like memes.
Like shit.
Because they're not yet at the place where they can make the difference.
Or where I feel like this directly affects them enough that they can.
Well, if they're making jokes, they can at least acknowledge that something's happening. But I'm thinking that the people with the power, the people with the bread are, of course, what? Grandpa Joe and Uncle Mary? Uncle Mary. LOL. Aunt Mary, great Aunt Mary.
It could be Uncle Mary.
It could be Uncle Mary these days.
Uncle Mary, he could be Mary. No, fuck it.
But still, like, they still have control of the money. Like, you gotta knock some of these generations off, let these new people get in, and then let's talk about these changes. I think over the next 10 to 20 years. Overall, yeah. And I think a lot of things, like just the way business is held, because COVID has been changing things that I think are going to echo through, echo further, like how online ordering has developed, how pickup ordering has developed. It's still very quick. You still got Uber Eats, DoorDash existing, bringing food to your house. We joked about this 10, 15 years ago, like, damn, I wish somebody would bring me some fucking whatever it was, and it wasn't pizza. When pizza was the only thing that
could be delivered.
We seen movies about this, cartoons, like all types of shit. Like, we knew this shit was coming. I think it's like, now that it's in our face, it's like, oh shit, it's like possible. But at the same time, like, we thought it would be so much farther, because it's like, if you see movies from like 80s, 70s, they thinking like, they thinking 2020, we got flying cars and like everything's reflective, and like, it's like, nigga, nah, we still driving these ugly ass whips, but fuck that shit. Like, I just feel like it's as much as we could have progressed forward, it's like we just not there. And I don't know if it's because there are people who just are negative, because I think you actually need those people at the same time, because it's like there has to be some type of something, like there has to be something, because if we all in peace and we just all like at the same time like kumbaya and nobody fighting and nothing's going on, there's no progress, like there's no struggle, there's nothing to do. If everything is given to us and we just like have everything available, then it's like there's nothing to do.
Well, even if it's not given to us, if we're just like constantly working for like to keep society moving, you don't think that would open people up even more to like coming up with ideas, like progressive ideas?
I guess
Like
that,
if people can actually thrive without being under stress.
I think it depends on where people think they fit in society. Like, I don't think everybody necessarily wants to be considered like society. Like, I think there's, especially now, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, well, I didn't say that or I didn't do that, so I'm not the problem. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you have that individualism, it's like it's hard to get people to identify as society. It's more so like if I told you, okay, like for society's sake, like you gotta forgive white people for everything they did and just be like it's cool. You be like fuck no, because as a black person you got me fucked up because that's a box that you put yourself in. But if it's for society's sake, then that's society. You know what I'm saying?
And
so
then the spectrum of people, the spectrum of black people that would be like, you know what, I do forgive y'all. Let's start to try to move on. Oh, now are we segregating the people who accept?
Now it's like black people against black people.
Fighting again. So,
yeah.
I think the bigger picture here is some people got to get removed, and by some, I think it really needs to be most. Most people need to get out of here.
Long story short, just do what the fuck feels good to you. And
no, I don't think it's always the answer. I mean, it is.
Cause that's what I'm finna do.
I mean,
because I spend so much time like, how do we get people to catch up? And it's just like the people that are kind of where I want to be in the next 2 to 3 years are like, bruh, just do what you want to do.
Right.
Get your land, grow your fucking food and your weed, and like the people that attract to that that'll draw them. You know,
right? Yeah, that's all you can do. Because it's like. When you try to bring everybody with you, it's like you gotta keep going back to get everybody and keep pulling everybody up with you, and it's like
one of them motherfuckers gonna kill me on one of the trips or something.
You gonna get fucked up trying to bring everybody with you, and it's like you gotta. That's why I said the best. I think the most obtainable thing that we can hope for is finding like a small community where you can like live somewhere just off the grid or just in your little space and like. Do your shit and not have to worry about, government assistance or like people just, pulling up to your property, nothing like that. Like just being in a community, not just by yourself. Cause I think a lot of people think it's like, oh, me and my family, we gonna move to this house and nah, like you need people around you. Like you need a community. You need at least like a group where y'all got everything y'all need, because you're not going to have everything you
can't do anything by yourself, bro.
You can't, because all it's going to take is somebody else and they group to pull up on you by yourself, and now it's like you ass out. So it's like you're going to need somebody to back you up, and you're not going to know all the answers. Like we all are good at what we're good at, and we weak where we weak. So it's like you got to have somebody else's perspective, because you might think of a situation only on your terms or how you usually think about it, but somebody else could give you a perspective where you ain't expect, and it's like that could save you from life or death. So you gotta have some type of community, and that's why I said it's gonna take something big for real. Like that's why we see all these movies with like robots and zombies and all that shit. It show you like when it's that type of time, like you figure out, okay, I'm gonna be with these people because I ain't about to be by myself when there's a bunch of zombies around.
So who y'all finna be? And have all y'all seen The Walking Dead?
I've seen like
all the way through.
But you know the main.
But I get the premise.
I'm trying to be Michonne.
I don't know the people by name.
The black lady with the locks.
Okay.
With the fucking sword.
Yeah, obviously.
With the fucking sword, bro. Some niggas is just like, take me out. I'm good.
Say, give me.
I don't need to be in that.
Like shit. Okay, get me out of here. Like, left at a great time because the series went down.
You said Glenn?
Glenn, yeah.
Glenn left at a horrible time.
No. Yeah.
I ain't see that.
This nigga, I think he had just learned that whatchamacallit was pregnant.
And he said, "Oh, I'm out."
And she saw him get his head bashed in, bro.
Peace.
Damn.
Oh my god.
That's
Jesus
wild.
Christ.
Yep, I'm out.
Nah, I don't know. Part of me feels like I wanna go through with it just to see like the world like that, because I think it'd be kind of cool, just to kill zombies and shit. But at the same time, it's like if there's no hope in sight, then we just having fun. We not doing shit.
That'd probably be the most hopeful I'd ever be, because that's your chance to legitimately restart society. Like you get to be a part of the like foundation of how things are gonna go.
But like realistically, what are the chances
of a zombie apocalypse?
No, of you repopulating like the Earth. And like first figuring out how to get rid of the zombies. And then figuring out how to
I don't have faith in my skills where they are right now.
I was gonna say, come on, Michonne. You're just gonna hack and slash them all, right? You're gonna slice and dice them.
Listen, that's who I would like to be.
Okay.
That's who I would want to align myself
And
with.
look, she chose the most self-sustainable weapon. It's a sword. She hasn't run out of ammo.
Right, exactly.
Just go slice them all.
She's got the distance.
Now those hordes, I don't know what you're gonna do about the
I
hordes.
don't know.
You're just gonna get taken out.
So like, does the new world exist with the zombies around us, and we kind of like normalize it, like we just kind of like scoot around them, like, oops, excuse me, like, like just, you know.
Yo, Michonne had her fucking pet zombies, bruh.
Oh no, she ended them though. She was.
She
like,
did, she did, but it was like her family that like abused her or whatever, and she was using them to protect her.
Hey, look.
That was some badass shit, man. I
respect it.
Michonne, right?
But I guess for me, it'd just be like, what is the chances that we like actually do this shit? Because then you think
I wouldn't.
Because then you think, what, like if somebody gotta get pregnant, it's like now you gotta be pregnant and try to escape from zombies.
And when Rick's wife got pregnant, I was so mad. I'm like, bitch, you want to get pregnant
in
right
the
now?
In the middle of
right
a
now?
zombie apocalypse.
While y'all are hiding in a jail?
I'm cool.
You idiot. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm cool.
I don't know. Zombie apocalypse, I'm not pulling out either. Zombie apocalypse.
That's selfish as fuck.
Nah, yeah,
just
that's
like
selfish.
a man.
That's
bruh.
selfish. That's
just like
don't put that on. Don't put
man,
that on.
Zombie apocalypse.
Because I wouldn't even want that problem for her or me. Like, I
literally,
can't have no kid, bro, in the middle of a zombie
she's
apocalypse.
literally trying to waddle away from a fucking
and then
zombie.
I gotta save her.
Because you didn't want to pull out.
Right, nah, I'm cool.
It sounds like I survived a little bit longer.
Nigga. This nigga gotta go.
Right?
He's gotta go for the betterment of society, bruh. You're one of the people that you're saying has to go.
I'm more of the person that's trying to annihilate all the zombies. You still need me.
You're too busy not pulling out.
That's
shit. You can't even kill a zombie.
That's after hours.
Oh, that's after. Okay.
You gonna use her as bait? That's wild.
Literally, we'll probably do some shit like that, bruh.
Get away.
We'll do some shit like that.
Nah, listen. I feel like the society would be built, and I would help on both the infrastructure on the inside and murdering the zombies on the outside, and everything's gonna be good.
The infrastructure, like repopulating.
That's gonna be second thought. Talk to me in 9 months.
Okay. Jesus Christ. She definitely got ate up by then, bro.
I definitely want to kill zombies.
Because you probably would have left her behind during something.
Hold on, but why? Why do you think you want to kill zombies?
I just think it's cool. Like, I don't know why. It's just the thought of like, I guess it's gonna sound fucked up, and I think that's why you asked me that question. I know that's why you asked me that question. It's gonna sound fucked up, but I want to know what it feels like. But it's like I don't have to think about it because they're zombies, so it's like my morals aren't in question because it's like, oh, it's a dead person, so I can do that. But I just want to know what it feels like.
That's
it's
fair.
Like, yeah.
But you're not so curious that you're willing to do it to a live person.
Yeah, there you go.
That's fair.
Live regular person. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And you didn't say you would enjoy it.
You did not say that either.
We're just gonna slide right on past that question, you know. But you didn't say that, so that's something.
That. Right? I didn't
that's
say
something.
that. I didn't say that.
That's
Allegedly.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's all I got. Y'all have crushed my hopes and dreams, so
it's okay.
Here I am.
Reality is,
a puddle of tears. Like, I'll just go in my corner of the world and do my farming shit. You know?
Like find your people.
If you want to come, there's land. If you don't,
have fun.
Have fun.
And I feel like
be easy.
And I feel like that may be the start to something that develops, 200 years, 400 years, whatever, into the future. Because everything goes in a circle. Mm-hmm. So it's like at some point, everything's going to demolish. And we're going to have to go back to, from the beginning. So honestly, I feel like a lot of people where they get selfish is like, if I try to change things in my community, it might never happen in my lifetime. So I don't want to do it because it's like, why waste my whole life trying to change some shit? But what you kind of, I guess, forget is that you're not doing it for just your lifetime. It's like, if it's supposed to transcend your lifetime.
If you got kids.
Yeah,
right?
like if you're doing it for your kids, it's like, if it's not going to transcend, it has to transcend your lifetime and influence further generations and further people like down the line for it to like, and you wouldn't even know because you just doing that out of the kindness of your heart. But like that's the only thing you can do because it's like you can't change the whole world. But if you can help a couple people, you don't know who you could influence, or like you do something right for the right person and put them in a position where they could change some shit. Like that's the ultimate goal. I feel like when you have this better idea of society, and I feel like we can get there, but like I said, it's gonna take some like people gotta get knocked upside their head. Like honestly, like a lot of people ain't got their ass whooped. So so you gotta teach them what I got my ass whooped.
But I've also never put myself in a position.
So you gotta teach people what an ass whooping feel like, and it's unfortunately.
Yeah. That's fair. All right. Anybody else got some final points?
I think your utopia is a great idea. I think ultimately it's not going to work.
Even within like a smaller community that I'm just like, if it just like naturally happens, not that I'm just like, hear ye, everyone determine your purpose in this, if it's just like.
I think the eternal struggle to try to get to that point where everybody is on that same page is going to be what helps kind of society kind of learn that, number one, that's a real option, and more importantly, that it's truly viable.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. It's showing people the option.
Niggas just never seen that shit. They just never
seen the option.
They've never seen another way.
A lot of times, it's just that's all they see. So it's like, if you can show people that is an option, more people that things are an option, then that opens their mind up to like the possibilities. Because I think that's one of the main things that they do in school is they crush your imagination. Like when you look at how kids like process shit and like look at shit and be like, oh, that looks like a dragon with this and that. But then as an adult, you look at it and be like, oh, that's a squirrel, or that's you know what I'm saying? It's like they kind of numbed our shit to where we only see like real life. And then it's like, oh, well, that's
like black and white.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, all that kumbaya, like let's all work together and build the community is cute. But like realistically, I got 4 kids. I live this place. I gotta do this, that, and the third. I don't have time to be going to a farm and da da da. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's always the reality of the real world, and then there's like what we could have, but it's like finding those people who are willing to do like what they gotta do to make that possible. And then there are gonna be people who just they cool with like where we at. Unfortunately,
that's literally me when I left my job. I was ready to plan I was planning a whole protest. I put the fucking group chat together and everything, and niggas like, yeah, let's do it. And then comes time to do it, and they're like, so you gonna be the spokesperson, right? And I'm just like, nigga, we all have to say something. And then everyone's just like,
no, they was gonna wait for you to say
not responsive.
Nah,
it's not enough.
They was gonna wait for you to say
something. And now they're
something.
still there complaining to me about the same old shit that I left for. And I'm like, nigga, duh. The fuck did you think? What the fuck?
A lot of people are not ready to be, part of the revolution. They love the revolution because it look good
from a different
distance. But they not ready to be a part of it.
Grow up.
Like shit.
Anyway.
Shit, they would fund the mission.
Yeah.
They'll throw money at that.
That's ridiculous.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
Like shit.
I'll throw money at that.
And
I'm not gonna be there.
That just screams one-track mindedness. That's just.
Like, I got shit to do.
Here's 20,000.
Here's 20,000 because I can't do it, but I'm gonna let you do it.
Go have fun. Yeah.
One day I have a dream. All right.
All right. Sound off.
Yeah. Wait. Join the Facebook group.
Read a book. Always gotta say that.
Nigga. Okay.
Do a dab when you see this.
Hey.
That too.
When you hear this.
When you hear this.
Hey. Okay, bye.